Have to clean things up. I thought the kid Dent, particularly in the New Mexico game, was just getting in the paint too much, and so we got to shore some things up there. But a guy like Jaden Quinence just changes you. He instantly makes you better at that end of the floor, just with all the different ways he impacts. Just his steals, his shot blocking, his timing, his motor. So if you're going to single one guy out to say, hey, like this guy really gets after it at that end of the floor, and but I thought we made strides certainly in the St. Mary's game to hold them to the shooting percentages that they shot, and our interior defense. I thought we dominated the paint in that game, so it was exciting to see that.
Chris Cartman, Sun Nova Source.
So, Chris.
Bobby, just curious, do you feel like this is one of the better offensive teams that you've coached skill-wise, and how do you go about trying to maximize that?
Well, I think there's a number of different ways that we could score the basketball. I think I have a lot of confidence on each player individually being able to make a play at that end of the floor. And I don't think we have a guy on the floor that can't make a shot, or I think our shooting is really good. We could go inside with Bashir and with BJ a little bit in some mismatch situations. So we have a chance to score in the paint, and we could put the ball in the basket from distance. We've been getting to the free throw line. The St. Mary's game, both teams didn't really get to the free throw line, but I think we've shown that we could do that. That we don't just settle for jump shots. That our offense is diverse enough that we get our looks from three, but we're still attacking the basket.
Is this as good as you felt about an offense? Obviously, the guard U team was a little more shooting oriented.
Yeah,
perimeter.
Guard U was they were just an exciting group. This team, I think, has a better ability to score on the blocks. Romello White did a little bit for us on that team, but I think we have a better chance to score interior, and we got better size. And you put a guy like Joe San out there, it's just opens up so many doors for me to be thinking about creatively finding ways to get him in space where he can make a play special.
Hi, Bobby. Doug Howard, The Athletic. I think in both games you guys were down, if not close to double digits, but it was right around there in the second half. A lot of times teams can kind of fracture in those moments. One guy might try to do too much.
Yeah.
What could you attribute just to the poise that you guys showed in those moments?
I mean, I'll start first with just a shout out to my bus driver Dan in Palm Springs, because he told me on Thanksgiving I don't drive losers. So he set the tone. So I kind of thought about him in those moments where the game was starting to get away from us in New Mexico, and just trying but I think it's kidding aside, I think that was we showed a lot of resilience. I think this team, the construction of the team has guys that are just driven young players that want to get better. Like, we had an optional workout on yesterday in the morning, and Jaden Quinence was there, and he's like probably our highest output guy, our highest minute guy, and he's in there working to get better. And Sanan, same thing. And now the portal guys, they have 1 year to make this happen. They all want to play in the NCAA tournament. They all have aspirations of playing beyond ASU. So I think it's a good, collection of guys that are very motivated to win. So in those dark moments, we try and find another gear. I'm just gaining a lot of confidence in them too. Like, I'm not panicking, if teams are getting a little bit of separation from us, because I know that we could go on a run, that we have the ability to spurt because we got guys who could put the ball in the basket.
Hey, Bobby, Jordan Ham, Sports
Jordan?
360 AZ. How are you? Where have you seen the biggest area of growth on this team when you think back to like the Duke trip to where you guys are today?
I just think the fight. I mean, we didn't really battle at all. We accepted what was going on there in that game, and I think we've collectively come together as a group. We're really, playing together, playing the right way for the most part. Making the right passes. We're more selfless with our energy on defense, and so I think there's been a lot of growth, obviously, over the last few weeks.
Hey, Bobby. Jose
What's up,
Romero,
Jose?
Arizona Republic. You're no stranger to playing pretty good non-conference teams and over your career, I guess. What more do you get out of those situations like in Palm Springs and the other teams besides the chance to play good teams?
Well, I mean, we put together this team and had the confidence to want to go play people, and that's why we signed up with Gonzaga late in the cycle. It was not many teams would go out of their way to go play at Gonzaga. So that's just a product of watching the guys, seeing what we had, knowing we were good enough to handle that, and then I'm just proud of our effort to win a championship this past week. 2 hard games against the team in the final that just took apart USC, held them at 36 points. So they were playing very well coming into that game, and it's excited for our players to see if the work that they're putting in is now translating into winning, and we're becoming more relevant. You're seeing it just with how people are responding to what we've done so far. I think that the Big 12 is going to offer us a ton of opportunities to win big games, but we've already been able to put a few in our pocket right now in the non-conference, so that's nice. And we still have some games left starting tomorrow, with a scrappy San Diego team, and they beat us last year at San Diego. So we got to refocus today and get the guys ready. I'm hoping for a great turnout. I'm hoping for just get a little bit of what I saw at the football game. If we could just get a little fraction of that, it would be great tomorrow night.
Hey, Bobby. Bobby right here.
Okay.
Blake Neiman, Sun Devil Source. Kind of bouncing off that point, seeing the success across the athletic department with football, volleyball hosting the NCAA tournament, what has that been like to witness? And also, what are your thoughts of the job Graham Rossini's done since he's taken over as AD?
Yeah, I mean, Graham's been fantastic to work with, and just our conversations have been great, our interactions, his role in helping me put together this team, and I think he's just put his head down and worked. I don't know if there's enough time in the day for him. He hit the ground running, and I think he's earned it. He's earned all the success that the athletic department's having. It's so exciting to watch what football's done, in particular, just Kenny and his enthusiasm and how he's brought that group together to play and believe, and winning so many close games the way they've done it. It's just been special. We're trying to see. We got to play well tomorrow. We got to get a good outcome tomorrow. But I'm thinking about Saturday. We're talking as a staff, maybe trying to get down to Dallas.
Hey, Bobby, Damon Allred, Arizona Sports. With Joe Son being able to hit shots in tough conditions, like off a lot of movement or with close contests, does he kind of open up the playbook for you in a way that you're not able to call certain actions or sets every year?
Well, I mean, we have some false movement to get him into space, and get him in good areas where he could attack, and he takes it from there, because I don't think he's the type of guy that necessarily needs a ball screen. Like, he is probably better just with people away from him to work on his man one-on-one, and then trying to get him coming off screening actions, obviously with his ability to shoot. So his teammates trust him. They are very happy for him that he won the MVP. That was a cool thing to see as he was presented that trophy, and just see his teammates respond to what he had accomplished.
Hey, Coach. Justin Lester, Joseph Devil's Digest. Last year, around the midway mark of the season, you kind of mentioned that it was a circular motion of the same problems that you guys had in the non-conference slate that season that kind of arose again in conference play. But how do you think sort of the start that you guys have had and the success that you guys have seen could mitigate any growing pains going into conference play this time around?
I mean, with this team, with a lot of new faces, a lot of the portal guys, high school guys, young high school guys, you would imagine that we would keep getting better. Like, we've done that since Duke, and each week we've gotten a little better, and we're playing against some of the top teams. So I don't think we're a team that has peaked yet or close to that. So that's exciting to know as guys get more familiar playing together.
Coach, Ryan Myers, Devil's Digest.
Ryan.
For you guys, ahead of now Big 12 conference play coming up somewhat soon, 3 games left, but a lot of time before that. What does the next month look like before you guys' first Big 12 game against BYU at the end of the month?
Well, obviously tomorrow's a big one at home. I don't think we played our best basketball at DFA, and that's kind of going to be something I'll talk with our guys with today. We want to make that an exciting environment for our fan base to come in and see us play well. And we've done it on the road in a neutral so far, but have not done it at DFA, in my opinion. So that'll be that's the plan. And then from there, we have 11 days till our next game against Florida, in Atlanta. So it's an opportunity. I told the team this before we even went to Palm Springs. Like, the month of December is going to be great for us because we could get better on the practice floor. We'll have we'll have 9 now games under our belt after tomorrow night, which is a lot at this stage. So we'll only have 2 games the rest of the way in December before we would play BYU. So a lot of practice time for us to learn and get better.
What do you think is the biggest thing you want to see in terms of growth now? Now that you guys have kind of got the gears going between now and conference play?
Just keep building off what we did defensively with St. Mary's, and our communication was better in that game too. And just having guys on the same page, comfortable in our ball screen defense coverages, being in a position to help at that end of the floor. Offensively, just continue. Like, I think our ceiling is still pretty high on offense to keep getting better, keep sharing it, and keep making plays at that end of the floor.
Hey, Bobby, Max Pitt, Arizona's family. Good to see you. More importantly, you've mentioned previously in the past that Josan, you believe, is one of the best shooting guards that you necessarily, or shooting, at least just pure shooters that you've ever had under your leadership. What necessarily do you feel like he maybe needs to improve in, even, or from that standpoint, from what you've seen over these last few games, or do you feel like that he's reached a point where you think that if he performs the way he's performing right now, you guys can compete with anybody?
I think for what we need Josan to do, he's doing an exceptional job. I think he's when he misses, I'm surprised, and that's just the bottom line. And we need his scoring punch, but he's been more committed to playing defense, which I like. Like, he was taking the assignments individually to match up with both New Mexico and St. Mary's guards. Both teams have very good guard play, and he was giving a lot of energy on the ball in that area, and his rebounding is coming around too. So he's trying to do more than just be labeled as strictly a scorer.
And do you think, just a quick follow-up on that, do you think that once conference play starts that he could become one of the better offensive guards really in the entire Big 12, which is particularly maybe the best guard play conference in the country?
I mean, when I was watching him in the spring, it was scary, like what he was doing and like how gifted he was scoring the ball and making plays out there. So I think he's getting to the basket more, which I like. He's not solely strictly relying on his perimeter shot. He's putting his head down, getting the basket, scoring that way too. So I know there's a lot of good players in the Big 12 and a lot of great programs, but he's got to be one of the top scoring guards, I would imagine, in the league.
Hey, Bobby, Ben Paris, Blaze Radio. It's 8 games in, but where your three-point percentage is now is as high as it's ever been as long as your time at ASU. Do you feel like you've been able to rely on that a little bit more this season?
Yeah, I think we've got ourselves in trouble with that is the early quick ones, in transition without many passes being made. Times we hit the paint and kick out and maybe make one more pass, like Adam Miller's 3 in the left corner versus St. Mary's. Those are the type of threes that we have a high success rate. So keep convincing our team and keep trying to convince these guys to not get impatient, make sure we take the right shot. If we take the right 3, I think we got a lot of guys who can shoot the basketball and make shots.
Bobby, Colin Harmon, ABC 15. Going back to what you said earlier about, people just starting to notice this team. I remember after the GCU game, you said it was, arguably the toughest schedule anybody had played up to that point. With that being said, are you surprised that at 7-1 you guys aren't ranked?
I'm happy with where we are. I don't get hung up in a lot of that stuff. I mean, I did talk to Doug Tamaro yesterday about that. I thought we were right on the verge, and I saw Jeff Goodman, who I respect, and Andy Katz and Seth Davis. All those guys are real basketball guys, and they have us in the top 25. So I'm excited that people that follow the sport real close or think a lot of what we did, and I think we've earned the right to be in a position to be considered. We've won a holiday tournament against 2 really good teams. We have other good non-conference wins on neutral sites, and we played Gonzaga right to the wire at their place. So we haven't done anything to not be in a position to be recognized right now, and the net rankings reflect that too.
Hey, Coach, you played 2 different styles of teams over the weekend. New Mexico, a little bit more offensive focus, and then St. Mary's, obviously defensive, lower possessions. How do you feel like that helps prepare you going forward, and how do you feel like, or did that reassure you knowing that you could win that grinded out game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, in New Mexico, I was concerned about them. They were turning teams over almost 20 times a game, and I thought we took care of the ball well, except for that one stretch, 5 or 6 minutes left in the first half to the first 4 in the second. Otherwise, we were really good. I thought we handled the pace of that game. We didn't do the best job on Dent, and so we got to still do a better job, defensively with players like him. But yeah, I mean, we handled that game well. A quicker game, slower game. You worry about a more low possession game, and particularly St. Mary's rebounding. They were plus 15 on their opponents coming into that game, so worried about doing our job to rebound the basketball. But I think we withstood the physicality of that game very well and handled it great.
Back to Josan. Does he shoot it like this in practice every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said earlier, like when he shoots, leaves his hand, it looks like it's going in just about like every time he shoots. And he doesn't take like bad shots either. His shot selection has been pretty good for a guy that could shoot it as good as he shoots it.
And I was just going to ask, what makes him a good shooter? Is it his elevation? Is it just the time that he puts into it? Is it? I mean, he doesn't need a lot of space to get it off in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. One quick one on him is like we're doing skill work in the summer, and there's no defense, and then he elevates from like NBA 3 and shoots it with like 2 or 3 basketballs of more arc than normal. And I'm saying, like, why are you doing that? Like, why did your shot just change? He said, that's a high closeout. Someone just closed out to me with a high hand. So he just changed. Like, that's how dialed in he is to his shot making and his ability to shoot the ball. It was like surprising for a kid that's 18 that was telling me that. There was no defense. It was just he was imagining a defender, and he changed the trajectory of his shot just for that one shot.
Bobby, any updates on Austin Nunez, and how hard has it been to navigate not having a true backup point to Mason?
Yeah, it's been tough. Austin is working hard with his rehab. I spoke with him yesterday. He'll be in today to get more treatment, and we're day to day with him. He's still, I don't think, at a point where he's ready to get back out there, but he's working hard with his rehab. And we tried to get Adam Miller. Adam played on the ball a lot in high school. He's been off the ball more at LSU and Illinois, and because he could score. But I think he's handled that well when I've taken Mace out of the game. And I've had point guards that I need to get him out of the game, but Mace doesn't seem to get tired. So, he's capable of playing 35 minutes as long as he's not in foul trouble. But Adam did a good job in those minutes when Mace was out of the game.
You mentioned the net a little bit already. What is your reaction when you see that and you see a team you just beat is 8 spots ahead of you in St. Mary's?
I don't take it personal. I mean, I just think at the end of this stuff, when everything shakes out, it's going to, they'll see what happened in that game, and it's going to help us at the end. So, I mean, this is all right now just like speculation on who's the top teams or whatever. I don't care about that. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Go Devils.